What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for the Real Housewives. I mean, no, it's not. It is not the Real Housewives of anything. It is Married to Medicine, season 8, episode 10. So listen, we start this episode off with Contessa testing positive for COVID and everybody having to go into quarantine. And so they went to quarantine for 14 days, and we saw everybody doing Jackie exercising and, all the different things that everybody was doing with their family. But all of the ladies had to be quarantined because they had all been around Contessa. So when they finally got out of quarantine, now they had a couple of Zoom meetings, Zoom conversations while they were in quarantine. That comes up later because apparently Dr. Heavenly was on the Zoom calls talking trash about Toyah, and of course it got back to Toyah, so we'll get, that's part of the conversation a little bit later on, but they did do that. We see Contessa meeting up with Quad. Both of them were looking cute. They were over to Quad's house. Quad cooked. Y'all know that's what Quad likes to do, honey. Quad had a spread, and Contessa's still talking about her husband. She's still talking about Scott and what he ain't doing. And he's turning 50. And Quad is telling her, girl, watch out. Because when they turn 50, that's when they start acting a fool. That's when they lose their mind. Because I guess that's when, her husband started tripping. He started going left, And so, they sort of having that conversation. And Contessa was saying, listen, her and Scott have the same problems because Scott won't go to therapy. And so they arguing about the same things and they pretty much in the same place. Listen, my mama told me, it wasn't my mama, it wasn't my mama, but somebody said, that's the definition of insanity. Like, you keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. If y'all are spinning y'all wheels and nobody's willing to do anything to change it, I'm just not clear on what we're doing here. I'm just not sure what you want, Contessa. If the man won't go to therapy and y'all relationship is not progressing, then I'm just not sure where do we go from here. All right. In the great words of Johnny Gill, where do we go from here? Anyway, and Stacey Lattisaw. Then we have Lisa Nicole meeting up with Toyah. Toyah talking trash about Lisa Nicole not having good wine. Talking about some people who don't drink wine don't keep good wine in their house. That's kind of true. And so Latoya says she glad she had some discernment, honey, and went by the liquor store and got her some good wine before she went over to Lisa Nicole's house. Now, while they was there, Lisa Nicole let it spill to Toyah about the Zoom calls and about, what's her name? Heavenly talking trash about Toyah, and Quad kind of joining in. Now, it sounds like Miss Carrie was defending Toyah, but Neela was sitting there and wasn't saying nothing. Neela was quiet as a church mouse. Neela was drinking her little sippy sip and was sitting there like, And so Lisa Nicole found it a little peculiar that Neela wasn't defending her. A little peculiar. Now, Toyah also says she's a little perplexed about why Quad got a problem with her. She said, in the past, Quad's been shady. She came over my house with the Oodles and Noodles, Survivor pack. And, she came over pretending like she was an IRS agent when I was, going through what I was going through when I owed the IRS all that money and stuff. But it was cute. It was funny. She threw the shade in my face. Like, I saw it. I knew she was being shady, but it was to my face. She said, but this seems a little off, a little different, because she's throwing all this shade, but it's not to me. Like, she's talking behind my back, and I'm not really sure when we went left or right with this. And so she was a little perplexed about Neela, and then she was a little perplexed about the situation with Quad. Now, we have Symone and Cecil. Cecil is the mixologist. Cecil has always been the mixologist, and they were just talking about Cecil being the mixologist and how his skills got better in quarantine. Then they started talking. It seemed like a roundabout conversation about their son when he needs to leave the house. Because, they have the son who went to Howard, the oldest son, and he didn't do too well, but he's back home and he's working. And I don't really know what the plan is. And here's the reality of the situation. I think sometimes, especially when kids come from a family where the parents did do well, there's a pressure. But everybody, and the one thing I love about Cecil is that he had a conversation with the son and said, listen, everybody's path ain't the same. I went straight from high school to college, straight from college to this and to that and the other. But your path may not be like that. Maybe college ain't your path, and it's okay. You tried it. It didn't work for you, but you're working. Now we just got to figure out what the path is. We got to find the path for you, and we got to get you on it. Now, Symone, I think if it was up to Symone, the boy would be out. He'd had himself a one bedroom apartment down to the hood somewhere, down to the Atlanta, because I feel like that's Symone's mindset is throw him in the water and he'll swim, and when he gets to the other side, I'll be there to hold him and be there to hug him. Cecil's is a little different, and he talked about the fact that he lived in his mama's upstairs over the garage apartment when he was younger, when he got out of college, and his mama was washing his clothes and cooking for him. And Symone was like, yeah, you would have never left if I hadn't come and got you. Like, you would have never gone nowhere. And he was like, probably not. And so I feel like that was a roundabout conversation that we're going to come back to later with her and the son and figuring out his path. But it was a cute conversation. I love to see Symone and Cecil in a good place. Like, I love seeing them not arguing and being catty with each other and things like that. So it was cute. It was a cute moment. Now we see Heavenly with her son. He found some properties we saw earlier in the season where they're getting into flipping houses and things like that. And so he got his real estate license. And so they went looking at a property. They found a nice house on the lake. And, Heavenly said, listen, this is a great, for this price point, it needs some help. The house needs some improvements. But for this price point, it's a worthy investment that we can flip. She said, hell, I like the house my damn self. It's a nice house out on the lake. Now, they decided they were going to make an offer, but then the real estate agent told them, hey, we do have an offer on this house, and it's a pretty good offer. And so, Heavenly wanted to put an offer on it. I don't know if they ended up buying the house or not. But again, what I love is that we see Heavenly showing her son how to build generational wealth. Okay, this is about, we're going to flip some houses. He's 19 years old with his real estate license. And he has a mother who not only has the means, but has done it herself. So she has the means to help you get some down payments and put these contracts on these houses and buy these houses and build that wealth. And listen, you can't be mad about that. You just can't be mad about that. That's what you're supposed to do for your churn. That's what you're supposed to do for your churn. Now, if you can. Now, Dr. Jackie, everybody's out of quarantine, and Dr. Jackie is having a self-love party. Okay? A self-love party, honey. She invited a adult film star. They had some toys. Okay? They were talking about loving yourself and being open and comfortable in your sexuality, and that when a woman gets to a particular age, she knows what she wants and she's not afraid to say what she wants. When we're in our 20s, we're a little timid. When we're in our 30s, we this, and by the time we get to our 40s, we're like, listen, I like this, and that, and if you can't do it for me, then I don't know why you're here. Then we don't have no reason to have no conversation. She asked all the ladies what their sex meter is from a 1 to 10. Child, and for each of them, she gave them a toy and told them about why she gave them that toy and how they could use that toy. I thought it was cute. All the way up to Contessa, who said she was a 10, honey, and she put this old thing on Contessa that was a blindfold and a whip and a strap and all kinds of stuff. It was nice. And they had some open conversations about sex and about sexuality. Now, while this was going on, though, we had a whole situation going on with Miss Toya and Miss Neela. Now, Neela was still in her feelings because she done found out that Toya, not only Toya talking about her, like, as far as to her face and questioning, all of these things, but Toya is talking about her throughout the neighborhood, telling her business throughout the neighborhood about her not paying her bills and her not doing this and doing that and calling her names and things like that. And Neela is in her feelings about it. Because she's like, listen, I thought we were friends. And, she out here, talking about me. Like, I don't appreciate that. Toya also rolled up in there and didn't speak to no damn body. She, you know what I'm saying. She didn't speak to Quad. She didn't speak to Heavenly. And Quad was sitting over there like, why she got beef with me? Quad, you been talking cash money shit about this woman. Why would she... Why... Why did you think she was going to speak to you? I don't understand what you don't understand. Neela was also letting Symone know. And so what I thought was interesting was Symone did the right thing, because when you got two friends fighting, stay the hell out of it. Symone said, well, I hope the two of y'all can talk one-on-one, which was the best thing to say. Problem was when Neela got there, Neela wanted to have that conversation in the middle of the damn party. Listen, Dr. Jackie got that 1 million square foot house over there. I'm sure there was another room that you could pull her into and say, listen, girl, we need to talk, but can we move over here and talk? So that you was not interrupting that woman's presentation while she was giving out her sex toys and telling people about their sexometer. Okay, you could have pulled that woman into the kitchen. You could have pulled her into the pool house. You could have pulled her into Dr. Jackie's big ass walk-in closet. I'm sure there was a million other places that y'all could have gone where you could have had that conversation with that girl without doing it in the middle of the party, and now everybody at the other table going, "What they talking about? Oh, they mad at each other. Oh, like there was a whole lot that could have happened in that moment." But Toyah was just very dismissive of Neela. Toyah was like, "Girl, I don't know what you talking about, girl. You tripping, girl, girl, a girl." Like she was doing a whole lot of that, and I felt like she was being very dismissive of Neela's feelings and how Neela felt. Now Toyah said, listen, I ain't the one talking shit about you. The other people talking about, the people in the neighborhood is gossiping about you not being able to pay your bills. I didn't say nothing about you not paying your bills. But it sounds like Toyah was kind of joining in the conversation, like sort of amen cornering the situation. But she did sort of apologize, but Neela said, I felt like it was very fake and very superficial. I feel like the apology was only to shut me up because you didn't want to be embarrassed in front of your friends and you didn't want us to continue this conversation in front of the crew. And so I felt like the whole thing was very superficial and very surface. So I feel like we're going to revisit that. You know, I feel like we're going to come back to that conversation. And it may very well have been surface. I don't know. But I just think this is still funny that Toyah is the one talking to child, talking about somebody's finances. Girl. Last but not least, we have this scene with Quad going over to Heavenly's house, and you know them teasing Heavenly's baby girl a little bit. She said she got weave and lashes and all kinds of stuff. Like, okay, girl. Like she asked her, have you kissed a girl? Baby, she rolled up out of there. I mean, not kissed a girl. I'm sorry. Have you kissed somebody before? She rolled up out of there. She was like, listen, ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't fooling with my mama and her friends. But I feel like that's something that all of us do with our children, with our friends' kids as they get older and we see them maturing and developing. You know, you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend. Have you had your first kid yet? Like I feel like that's just that, you know, that ribbon that we do with each other. And then of course they got into that conversation about we got into the conversation about Toyah and how she acted at the party and why she ain't speak. And once again we got into the conversation about their friends and whether, you know, why are they talking about us, why are they not talking about us, and all that good stuff. Again, that was just I feel like that was just a filler scene because again, Quad, I don't know why you don't understand why that girl ain't talking to you. Okay, you been talking cash money trash about her. The other thing, I think I forgot two things. Symone and Cecil lost their dog. Remember, was it Sam, Sal? What was this? I think it was a Scottish Terrier, the black dog. I think it was a Scottish Terrier. I'm not good with my dog type of, so sorry about that. You know, he said it was very sudden. One day he took him for his walk and he wasn't doing well. Took him to the vet and the baby never came home. So definitely feel for that. And then we also saw one other thing dealing with dogs. That's what made me think of it. Contessa talking about the nanny that stole their dog. She said the nanny asked to take the dog home and then never came back to work. And then Contessa admitted it and was like, well, I feel like maybe she did more like rescue the dog. Oh, so y'all wasn't taking care of that dog and that woman took that dog up out of there. Child Quad was like, no ma'am, you know, I don't play with my babies. I don't play with my babies. You know, somebody took my babies up out of here. It would have been a whole lot of situation. But again, that let you know that they wasn't mad that dog was gone. Contessa. How the nanny gonna steal your dog? And you don't say nothing. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.